And welcome to the Eric Tries Too Hard podcast. So, you know what? I don't think I actually got your real name. I just have your Reddit name. So who do I have with me today?
Rashaad. My name is Rashaad Wright.
Nice to meet you, Rashaad Wright. Yeah, so you are a comic, correct?
Yep.
All right, sweet. Where are you based out of?
I live in Kansas City, Missouri.
Big comedy scene there?
That's my cat that you probably, I don't know if you saw. Get out.
Yeah. My cat will be banging on the door at some point, as she usually does for these. But yeah, no, so big comedy scene there?
It's getting bigger. I've actually only been doing it for about 9 months, but just within that time, it's grown pretty good. So.
Yeah, definitely. I saw a couple videos of you opening up for was it Hannibal Buress?
Yep.
At a theater.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It was pure luck, but it was pretty sweet.
Yeah. How did you, if you don't mind explaining how? Like, I'm in a band, and every once in a while we just get something like that, and that just kind of happens. How did that go about happening for you?
So he came to the Foley Theater, and I was getting my seats, and I follow him on Twitter, and I get notifications whenever he tweets, and he happened to say, "Hey, Kansas City, I don't have an opener. Who should I call?"
What?
And I'm like, "Is he fucking with me right now?"
Yeah.
And I had front row seats, so and when he tweeted it, I didn't notice it for 5 minutes. So I'm like, "Oh, right away!" I was like, I tweeted.
Yeah.
But one of my buddies, that's also a comic, he beat me to the punch. He was like, "Hey, I'm ready to go." Blah blah blah. And so I tweeted, and I got nothing back. And then I see he tweeted again. He tweeted my buddy. He said, "Hey, I called you." And I was like, "Is he serious?" I was like, "Man, I'm going to be so pissed off if I miss this opportunity."
Yeah.
But coincidentally, my wife had tweeted him also and said, "Hey, we're sitting in front row in these specific seats."
Yeah.
And I was like, before the show even, I was like, how crazy would it be if I got to open for Hannibal?
Yeah, that's
whatever. Like, we've been talking about it for like 2 weeks. And she put out that tweet, and about 5 minutes later, some lady comes walking around. Like, you can tell she's looking for someone. I was like, how funny would that be if she was looking for me? And she comes up to me, she's like, I'm looking for you. I was like, holy shit. And sure enough, she took me backstage. I met Hannibal. He said, do a few minutes, and the rest is history from there.
That's nuts, dude. That's awesome. I'm glad you got that good, solid quality footage up on there.
Yeah, well, he didn't want anybody filming because of the whole Cosby thing.
Yeah.
But when I was leaving, I told my wife, I was like, "Get out the camera, get out the camera, get out the camera." So,
dude,
yeah.
That's what we call a keeper, by the way.
Yeah.
Your wife did one of the. Not only was that a really nice and smart thing to do.
Yeah, it was clutch.
But like. But what she did was, this is just something that took me years to learn. When you contact someone and you're trying to get booked, you want to make it as easy as possible for them to find you, contact you, and she did just that. That's
she put all that information.
Oh, that's awesome. So she supports you on your comedy venture?
Yeah, sure does.
That's awesome. Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 32.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. What made you decide to start comedy now? I mean, not that this is a particularly older age to start comedy, but what made you start now?
I have no clue. I really don't know. I've actually done hip hop for some time now, and just one particular day, I don't know what I was ranting and raving about, and I was trying to inspire people to follow their dreams or whatever. And I've always wanted to do comedy, but I was scared that people would take me serious because I've always been a goofy person. And I was like, I'm gonna do. Yeah,
it worked in your favor a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna do stand up. I'm gonna do stand up this one time just to prove to you guys that it's easy for you to just get up and do something that you put your mind to. And I did it, and I haven't stopped since.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, how often you got up?
Probably about 2-3 times a week.
Oh, that's good. How many clubs are there to do?
They're growing. I just started my own open mic at this place called the Tank Room. It's in our downtown area, and there's at least 2 every day.
Oh, that's really cool.
We have a nice little community on Facebook that we keep each other up on with new open mics popping up and things like that. But yeah, I probably go about twice a week, which is actually pretty minimal compared to everybody else.
Well, it's funny because whenever I interview somebody from not New York, it's always twice a week, 3 times a week. But if it is New York, it's just like every night over and over.
Yeah, New York to LA, it's like I go out 5 times a night, 5 times, 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
But I mean, I got a full-time job, I got other stuff, so I'm pretty good at taking advantage of great opportunities or things that I'm not necessarily going to waste my time on. Because I have to, because I can't go out there that often. But I have a particular place I go every Monday, which is pretty big. And then I have my open mic on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And then if I happen to be free any other day, if I have some free time, I hop out there. But
that's awesome. So what do you do in the real world? Because you mentioned you were doing hip hop, you're doing comedy now. As someone else who also has a full-time career and is trying to pursue various forms of art, I get curious. So what do you do?
Yeah, I work in IT. I actually work for an online university.
Yeah.
It's boring.
Can you work from home?
Yeah, I do every now and then.
Yeah.
Do, but it gets boring at the house.
Yeah.
And my wife works from home, so.
Yeah. My wife just started working from home, and it's been nice, but I could tell, like, it reminds me, like, when I get home, it reminds me of, like, when I was in grad school, and I had 4 days a week where I was just at the house doing homework, and she'd come home, and I would just unload on every, like, just like, oh, the things I want to talk to somebody.
That's the way she is. It's like, oh, a real person's home.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's really cool. So, do you, I know this is probably far in the future, but do you have plans of moving to a bigger, I guess, like a New York or LA eventually, or is this something that you're? Yeah.
I'd like to. I'd like to move to California. I would move to New York, but y'all weather's fucked up.
I agree. I'm from Baltimore, and so it's not exactly the same, but it's a couple hours away, and it's. I move anywhere warmer, nowhere colder.
I don't like the cold. I have enough cold here in the Midwest. We get snow every year and all that. I don't want to move to another place with worse snow.
Yeah.
So I really like California. So hopefully, my career takes me to that point to where I can get there.
Yeah, that's nice. That's pretty sweet. So, okay, so you got into comedy this past year, and before then, how long were you doing hip hop, or was it just music in general, or specifically hip hop?
Specifically hip hop. I was probably doing hip hop for close to 10, 11 years, which is crazy because I've made more money in a few months doing comedy than I have in hip hop.
I would argue that that's the difference between music and comedy. Like,
I made more money in the 5-minute set that I did for Hannibal than I have in my whole 11 years of doing hip hop.
Yeah. No, definitely. Oh my God. Yeah. Thinking about, I guess that 2 or 3 year stretch, I was in a cover band, like just a rock cover band, and played bars. And every single night, I made more than whatever years of touring. Like, it's stupid how much money you can make if you actually provide a service people want, I guess.
Yeah, it's rough. You really got to put yourself out there and grind it out.
Yeah. I mean, original music has a low floor, but like high ceiling, so who knows? But well, that's nice with comedy, and that's the other thing that I found as I'm moving into this whole, I guess, podcasting realm of I don't have the time I used to have. Like, I'm married, got a house, got a career, a baby on the way, and so it's like, I don't have the same time that I used to have for music where I could just, you're playing a show? It's not like a stand-up set where you show up, you wait, and then you perform, and then you're done. You have to lug all your shit there, 4 hours ahead of time, sit around, watch through every band, play. Like, bands play 45-minute sets.
Right.
Like, every time I tell comedians that blows their minds. Like, open mic for a band is like 45 minutes?
Yeah. Because
what makes you think you have 45 minutes right off the bat?
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. And congratulations on the baby, by the way.
Oh, thanks. I guess I moved it. We used to have a crib right behind me, and everyone would always ask about it.
I could see some of the boxes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
a lot of boxes.
I do not wish. I don't miss that at all.
Yeah.
My kids are 5 and 8.
Oh, cool.
All the crap.
Yep. I'm dreading years one. I've worked with kids most of my life, and like I'm dreading 0 to about 4, and then I'm like, I'm good all the way out. I told my wife, I was like, if you can raise them until they're 4, I got it.
Dude, I'll come in when they can walk and sort of feed themselves. Yeah, I'll come in and take them for you.
I have to say, after talking to you for like 10 minutes, you sound like the most well-adjusted comic or musician that
I get that. I get that a lot. Like all my comedian friends, they're always they're like, okay, you have a good job, you have a good family. Why are you doing comedy? I'm like, my life's still fucked up.
Yeah. I think. Oh my
I get
God.
that all the time.
Yeah. So in this past year in comedy, like what I know it was kind of hard for you to describe what got you into it. You just kind of started doing it one day.
Right.
But was that initial, like that first time you went up or first couple of times, did you just know that this was different? Like this was something you wanted to do?
Yeah, it was definitely different. When I got up, my first open mic I did at Stanford's Comedy Club in the area, and you get 3 minutes, and I probably wrote a few bits. I probably took a week before I decided to actually go up. I wrote a few bits, didn't really know how long I was going to have. And when I got up and I started talking, at that moment, I was like, wait, I've been doing this my whole life, and I just haven't realized it. I was just I wasn't nervous at all. But I think that comes from doing music for so long. I'm not really afraid of crowds.
Yeah.
But
especially
I just got
hip-hop, if you're just, or were you in a group? Did you do solo stuff at all?
both. Did group solo stuff.
Well, if you're solo, it's just you up there. Like that's the big.
Right.
Sorry, keep going. I just wanted to.
No. I mean, you're exactly right. It was just I got up there and I just started talking, and I winged it a little bit, and you just know that. And for me, it was just kind of like I've been doing this my whole life. I didn't realize it. Fucking around in school and shit like that. So, and people tell me all the time, like, you're natural. I mean, I don't like to hear all that because, I have a lot of work to do. But
the fact that you know that you have a lot of work to do is a sign that you're already on the right track. A lot of people, and I don't want to be all like, oh, young people, but probably, young people. They tend to be like, no, I know what I'm doing.
Right.
I got this. I've learned it all. I've done this for 3 weeks. And I'm good.
Right, and I'm good. I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I see that a lot too. Yeah. You have to be self-aware and be willing to take a lot of criticism.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And if you ever promoted music online, I'm sure you had plenty.
Boy, yeah.
Dude, I remember I guess it would have been pre-Facebook, but it was like promoting. Okay, so full disclosure, I did some of the hippity hop. Hip hop, is that what it's called? Except so like I did what's called. Have you ever heard of nerdcore rap? Like yeah. So I did that, but it was before that was like a thing, and I'm sure it was a thing. I just wasn't aware of it, and so I had no idea how to market myself. So I like put it's basically like I turned RPG beats into like hip hop beats, and then I just rapped about nerdy stuff and like whatever bullshit.
That's
and
that's the groundwork of it. That's how.
But I'd go promoting to like the worst possible places. And I'm like, what the fuck is this guy here?
Just backward.
That definitely cut my teeth to like, now dealing with like the Twitter world or I guess Facebook isn't as bad because people have to use their real names and shit.
Right.
But, yeah. I assume you're on Twitter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So have you gotten any Twitter flack or any criticism that way, or are you still?
No. I'm still pretty unnoticed.
I mean, that's still positive in some ways.
The Hannibal video I put out with Reddit, I got a lot of great feedback from. I haven't, doing comedy, like I have a handful of videos out there. I haven't really received any bad feedback or criticism from it. So I'm like, okay, well maybe I'm on the right track. I don't know.
I was watching some of your videos, and when I got to the Hannibal and you opened by saying you've been doing it about 8 months, and I was like, what? Get out of here. What are you talking about? I thought that was a joke. I thought you were just like...
No, I'm dead serious. I mean, and I don't like... I mean, I'll do it in my set sometimes if I'm fucking with another comic. Like, I really don't like going around... I don't like going around telling people I haven't been doing it that long because they're like, oh, he's chauvinistic or whatever. I mean, sometimes I can be in a playful way. But for the people that's been doing it for so long, you can tell that some people are kind of uncomfortable with it because they're like, well, he's so well put together. I mean, he has his head on straight. He does things professionally, and he's only been doing it for so long. And they look at themselves and they're like, oh, what the fuck I've been doing. And I've had people kind of not talk to me sometimes because of that. But it's kind of hard for you not to like me because I get along with everyone. Yeah. So I mean, if you don't know me and I say that I've only been doing comedy for 8 months, their first reaction is, oh, this fucking asshole. But after a while, you get to stupid cat. After a while, they come to know me and it's all good.
Yeah. That's the other thing I found with in local scenes is that you'll go in, whether you're the veteran, you often get shit from new people unless you're like famous, but obviously nobody's famous in like a local scene. But you get shit from new people. If you go on stage and you say I've been doing this 10 years, you have people doing it 1 and 2 years going like, oh, he thinks he's better than us. Right. It's all insecurities.
And
or when
you go on stage and say
like 1 year,
that's 20 years exactly what I don't want. I mean,
but that's what I found was like with local, especially music scenes, what would end up happening was as long as it's like I kind of learned that from whether it was bands, promoters, sound guys, bartenders, if you just take the shit for a little bit, and it's not even direct, it's just they won't talk to you or they're not acknowledging you, whatever. If you just deal with that and let that go for a couple months and just don't burn any bridges, eventually everything will come full around. I've had bandmates who are just like, no, fuck that, I'm telling that guy off right now. I'm like, well, you're burning a bridge for the future, even if that person's being a little rude.
Exactly. No, you just gotta. The point is, you just gotta do what you came to do. Don't worry about everyone else, and that's. I don't worry about everyone else. I support everyone. Like the comedy scene, there's a lot of funny people and just a lot of real cool people. So it's easy to support them because they're actual friends. But at the end of the day, you go to do what you have to do and what you want to do, and don't worry about the politics so much and what everyone thinks about you, because once you start getting that in your head, that's when you start fucking up.
That's like gonna be my soundbite for this episode. That's fantastic. Like that the way you just summed that up, I was just like, oh shit. It's like that kind of brings me back down to earth, and definitely I think that should be repeated to every like artist every year of their entire lives. Just remember this. Don't stray from that.
I missed half of what you were saying. I don't know what happened. The feed froze or something.
I was saying nice things about what you said.
Oh, nice.
How important your message was.
I concur.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Did it do the old Matrixy sound thing?
No, you just and it was funny because you start talking and your mouth was like wide open and it just froze on that. And I'm like, huh?
My mouth does get very wide when I speak. I don't know if you could tell. I'm like incrementally backing away because the camera's too close. But yeah, no. So with the sorry, this is what I wanted to ask. Did you have many friends who did stand up before you started doing stand up?
Nope, I knew no one.
You just came in fresh. Yeah. See, I won't even like go see an open mic because I know how tight knit the community is. That's a shitty excuse. I need to just go and start whatever. But doing this podcast has been cool because I'm like trying to ease myself in for at least my locals. Like I've done 2 local people now, and I'll just be like, sweet, I'll know somebody there. Like, but the idea of you just going like fresh to a comedy scene, to an open mic, to perform. Did you bring anybody with you, or did you just go on your own?
I brought a bunch of people.
Like, really? I'd be scared I'd bomb in front of everybody.
Everyone in my department at work came, and then I had a handful of friends came for my very first time, dude. And I wasn't scared then. Well, partially because one of my bits that I did was about the people that I worked with, so I wanted them to hear it. I wanted them to see it. And that went really well. So I think because I brought that big crowd of people, it kind of made it easier. Yeah. And I didn't count that first open mic as me going, okay, I did great, because a lot of my friends was there. So the second time I brought no one was there, no one I knew was there, and I did it again. I was like, well, I'll go off of this judgment right here, and the response I got was pretty good. So I was like, okay, well, I'll do it next week again. So
Yeah. Nice. That's awesome. When did you first? What got you into just enjoying stand-up comedy? What was the first thing you can remember where you were like, that art form is amazing?
Eddie Murphy Raw when I was a kid. My favorite stand-up movie. It'll always be my favorite stand-up movie. And back then, as a kid, watching that, as a kid, I wanted to be a stand-up comedian at that point. But, you know, as years pass and you grow up, you know, you have different dreams or whatever.
Yeah.
But from watching that movie, you know, Eddie Murphy Raw, Martin Lawrence, Richard Pryor, back then, who else? God, it was a Sinbad.
As a little kid, that was one of the few. So my parents had me watch Seinfeld with them every single week when I was really young. And so I'm 28 now, about to be 29 in a couple of days. It was like where I would watch Seinfeld with them, and then I loved stand-up. Just the idea of it seemed just amazing to me. And they tried to find me, like, this is pre-Comedy Central, obviously. They tried to find me stand-ups who I could watch, but were actually good, and it was always Sinbad. It was like the one thing they knew that was going to be good, but not, dirty.
Right. And, I mean, Sinbad is great. Like, he's a prime example of you don't have to be overly, you know, dirty or anything like that to be hilarious. And I'm not a real huge fan of clean comedy. I mean, I'd rather people just let it rip and say whatever they want. Yeah. But if that's who you are and you have a lot of premises, right, that doesn't make you be dirty or whatever, I mean, it could be good. Sinbad's one of them. And there's a couple I can't really think of at the moment.
Brian Regan is always my go-to, like, so good.
Yeah, he's great too. God, now I forget who I listen to comedians all the time on Spotify. But now I can't think of any of their names. But yeah, I mean, doing comedy, when you've done it, you broaden your horizons. I mean, before I did comedy, I had specific people I would probably watch or whatever because, you know, I really didn't care about it. I just wanted to laugh. But now you, like, pay close attention to different things. And I found so many different comics that are pretty big influences. And it's just great just finally having my mind open to all that stuff and different ways of comedy that didn't even exist.
What was the jokes? No, keep going. Tell me. I was gonna just ask you to follow.
No, that was it, really.
Oh, okay. What was the first stand-up, like live stand-up you went to?
First live stand-up.
And if your first one was like just something you went to and it kind of sucked, just tell me whatever the first one was.
I was going to say the Hannibal Buress one was my first one I ever went to.
That would be insane.
That would be crazy.
You were the first stand-up comic you saw. You bought a ticket for yourself was the first
one. Right, and I just... who was... wow, let me think. Probably say if... It wasn't that long... I mean, I probably have to say in the last 8 years, maybe 10 years. Who was I? Maybe it was Tommy Davidson at the Improv. I'll say Tommy Davidson at the Improv. He came here a long time ago, probably about 5 years ago. No, my wife did. I'll say about 8 years ago. Yeah. Tommy Davidson at the Improv, and then I saw Earthquake at the Improv. He was hilarious that night. I saw Kevin Hart.
When did you see Kevin Hart? Like, what type of venue was it?
It was the Improv, so it was a small venue. It was before he seriously blew up. I mean, he was famous. I don't think he had done any movies yet.
Yeah.
But it was just right off the precipice where he blew up.
Was the stuff okay? I was good. We can relate on that. I was about to be. I have like a handful of comedy hipster moments. And one of them was seeing Kevin Hart do his which one? I guess would have been, I forget which special he was working on, but it was right after Grown Little Man, and he came to the DC Improv, and my friend was like, you gotta hear this guy. Like, this guy's unbelievable. He's like, and we went down there, and just unbelievable. Some of the best crowd work I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, no, he was hilarious, and he was a cool dude too. I talked to him afterwards.
He was doing. We were buying DVDs. He was signing stuff, meeting people. He had this like I guess like this long table that he just like a card table that he had his seat or his DVDs on, and I mean, everybody knows how short he is, and he was standing behind it with his legs spread real wide, just signing stuff, and he was no taller than 3.5 feet at that. And it was oh my god. Ugh.
Oh yeah, no, he's super short. Yeah, like he jokes about it, and you see him on TV, and you're like, what are you like, 5'6", 5'7", or whatever? That's not that short.
Yeah.
When you see him, you're like, oh shit, you're short.
First time I saw Patton Oswalt was he came out on stage. I didn't laugh for 5 minutes. I was so distracted by how short he was because I never understood. I was like, oh, they don't look. People who are short don't look short on TV. So it's like, oh, yeah.
Like, you're way shorter than what I thought.
Yeah. It starts to make sense why like short comedians open almost every set as they're coming up with jokes about them being short because they're aware it's distracting.
Because they're right, let's just get over it. I'm much taller on TV. Okay, now let me go to my first joke.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh man, that's pretty sweet. Yeah. So what got you into music? Now I'm gonna bug you about music.
Yeah, no. I have a friend. I refer to him as my brother. I've known him for so long. I think when I turned 21, I started going to hip hop open mics. I kind of did some music a little bit before then, played around with it. Like in high school, I used to freestyle with a bunch of my friends, and it was another one of those things. They're like, "Hey, you're pretty good. You should do something with it." So I continued to write music, and when I turned 21, I started going to this open mic, and where I met a friend of mine who was pretty much a freestyle legend in the area at the time, and it just kind of progressed from there, and we just did music, and it just built up, and that's just what it was, really. We did a little bit, not too much, just still in the Midwest. Mm-hmm. I went to Minnesota, which is very exciting. What year?
Yeah.
Where was I living at the time? Probably about 6 years ago.
6 years ago?
We went to went to this. They had this freestyle battle rap league up there, and we went up there because my buddy, he's a great freestyle battle rapper. Like, he just annihilates people. Yeah. And we went up there. We got invited out there, and we competed. I got a video on YouTube out there somewhere.
Oh, that's cool.
Horrible.
Oh,
it's horrible.
Well, then I'm definitely gonna watch it. There's no way.
Yeah,
can't do that.
It was bad. I didn't do bad. See what happened. See, I'm originally.
Tell me your bad beat story.
I'm originally from Detroit.
Yeah.
So freestyle rap battles to me is strictly there's a beat and you strictly freestyle over the top of the head and you battle rap. Now these battle rap leagues now they're all written battle rap leagues, and I'm not really into it.
Yeah. No, I can see that.
But getting up there, prior to getting up there, I had a set opponent that I was supposed to prepare for, which I did somewhat prepare for. And
you looked at his shirt, you were fine.
Yeah, I prepared for this guy for at least a week, and I get there and the guy didn't show up. So, and they gave me someone else I had to battle. So I had to freestyle rap battle it, which I'm like, well, that's fine, that's right up my alley. I don't care. But you can see that like he was prepared because his written raps was tailored for anyone.
I was going to say, that'd be amazing if he starts battling you and all of his descriptors are just wrong.
Right. No, it was tailored for anyone, so he knew what he was doing. Yeah. And you could tell, like, when I was battling him, I was directly getting down, but you could tell that it was unprepared. But, yeah, it went all right.
No, I know this was a much smaller scale, but, like, just at college I performed at, they also had I performed my stuff and made almost no money, and then they also had that same night like a freestyle competition. I was like, oh sweet, I can actually win money there.
Right.
And the guy who I battled in the first round, I got knocked out immediately. The whole crowd was like part of his fraternity.
Yeah.
And so like he didn't even battle me. He just turned to the crowd and started saying happy birthday to some girl and like shout outs to his friends, and then they cheered for him and he won. This is bullshit.
Like, what? Yeah, no, he in Detroit you get kicked in the nuts for shit like that.
Well, so the reason I started getting really excited about the whole Midwest hip hop, and especially, you said, was it Minnesota or Minneapolis specifically?
Minneapolis.
Okay. So in 2007, I found another band that, like, at that point my hip hop stuff grew, and I was like only part MC. We had somebody else doing the leads, and I wrote all the music, and we had a full band at that point. So then we went on tour with another band that was similar, MC and a band behind him. And they're from Minnesota, and their singer was this like local freestyle slam poetry legend dude. Right. And no, it was just like he would tell us all about the Minneapolis scene, and just how if you find the right clubs or the right places, especially with hip hop, it was just exploding around the mid 2000s.
Right.
Which is why, like, yeah, not bad.
It was a cool area. I want to go back up to that area to do comedy. I remember going there for the first time and just seeing how many people ride bicycles out there. I've never seen so many bicycles in one place.
It's gotta be so cold. I can't do that.
Right, like no way. Like you gotta get in a van or something. But yeah, there's just so many bikes in one area. I've never seen nothing like that. But it was a cool area.
Yeah, it's also there's so many cities. Like I've been up and down the East Coast so many times. Like I've been whatever, like everywhere in that region. But like, there's so many other cities that I just haven't even stepped foot in. Like, I want to, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's weird to be like, all right, wife, we're going to vacation in Minnesota. Then we're gonna go to Idaho. Then we're gonna go to Washington State. Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, let's just go to New York again. Let's go out of the country. I don't know. But
yeah, I wish I traveled more in my younger years. But hopefully I'll get to. With this comedy stuff, I have a few things going on. Hopefully, I can get out to the West Coast for about a week or so.
Oh, that's awesome.
Other places.
That's how I always felt with music, but it never took me out of the East Coast. Just didn't. Probably could have, but like by that point, I was smart enough to know how bad you're hemorrhaging money. Not true. Yeah. I always knew how bad you're hemorrhaging money. I couldn't make myself do it again. But like, I always thought that'd be so cool to have a job where you could just like you travel and then you do your job. Not only do you get to travel, but you also make money, and you feel like, I don't know, I have this weird thing where I feel like if I travel somewhere and I'm just on vacation, then I don't know, it's like I don't have a purpose to be there. I feel like an intruder.
It's kind of a waste.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends who will be like, oh yeah, I saved up, I'm going away for 3 months and go visit all these places, and they just go visit, hang out, honestly kind of do the same stuff they did at home, and then come back home. And to me, I was like, you didn't have a purpose. Can't you at least blog about it or something?
Right, something like chronicleize it so everyone can kind of, I'm the same way. Like even little vacations or whatever that we'll go visit family, and they're like, oh, let's go here for the weekend. And I'm like, cool. I'm like, what comedy spots they got in there? Just so I can get them.
I was gonna say, if I did stand up, that's how I would see though. I'd be like, okay, I did my thing for the day. I was like, now what open mics are in the area?
Right.
Like that. Yeah. I'm not kidding. Half the reason I wanted to make it in music, at least half, was the drop-in factor.
Yeah. Just
to be able to just drop into a venue and have people excited that you're there. Like holy shit! Like that's fantastic. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's I feel the same way. That's one of the things I want to be able to go. I mean, it progresses. I mean, you have a lot of work to do, but some places I want to be able to go, drop in, and they're like, hey, that's such and such. Yeah, let them on real quick. Yeah. So that's one of my goals as well. There's a couple places here in the area that it's kind of like that for me, which is pretty cool. Because like I'll purposely go to one place, like a smaller place. Then like I won't show up for like months. Yeah. And then I'll pop back in. They're like, oh hey! I'm like, yeah, of course you're excited to see me. I haven't been here in 3 months. Yeah, I just did this this little local competition. What's today? Saturday? On Thursday. There's this a place down the street from my house. This guy is other older comedian. He's a cool guy. He runs an open mic at this little rundown bar, and they had this little competition where you win like $20. And I haven't been there for months, and I popped in, and it was kind of like one of those things. Like, oh, hey, you know,
yeah,
yeah. I felt like a big shot.
Yep. Those moments sometimes can be few and far between, so enjoy it. Don't ever feel guilty about that.
Oh God, they are. Yeah.
That's what I always tell with bands on tour. Typically, if you don't have just a giant fan base, sometimes even if you do, when you go on tour, it's usually like a ratio of, and there's a big difference between music, I feel, and comedy, where comedy will have, like clubs will have built-in audiences, but venues don't. Venues, the audience of the venue is whoever the band's brought. That's typically how it goes. So if you're a touring band and you're playing states you've only played 3-4 times, or even less, it's like 1 out of every 5 shows, there's just a great crowd shows up and everything's perfect. And then the other 4, it's between like 0 and 10 people show up. So you're taking those chances. And I know bands who will go and have that early success, especially local, and then go on one tour and be like, this isn't the Rockstar Fantasy Camp I thought it was, and then just quit. And so it's just so do you find that when you either travel or even when you're just doing the the open mic circuit, do you find that there are decent crowds there, or do you find yourself mostly just performing for staff and comedians?
It's off and on. You just gotta stick with it. That's just one thing you always have to keep in mind. Stick with it, because like the Monday night place I go to, sometimes it's good, sometimes it can be pretty shitty. Sometimes you walk in and it looks like it'll be shitty, and like an hour later it'll get packed. So you just gotta continue just to grind it out. I've done music and comedy shows for like 2 people. And I've done it for 1,000 people. So, you just gotta be able to roll with the punches. And it is a little bit more difficult for me because I feed off the crowd. I do much better if the crowd is more into it. So it's one thing I'm working on. But yeah, you definitely just have to get in your mind, I came to do something, and you got to do it.
I feel like so you mentioned being comfortable in front of the bigger groups, like you feed off the audience. Did you find that was how your experience was kind of growing up, where you just if you were goofing around and then you realized you had a crowd and that just like spurred you on? Is that
sometimes? Yeah, depending on the situation.
I've just noticed, because and this is way too painting with very broad strokes, but I was just thinking about how it feels like of the comedians that I know, there are 2 breeds. One is the group that if they had a whole crowd that egged them on to keep telling jokes, like in the classroom, they would make or they're the type who they want to make jokes, but just to the friend sitting next to them.
Right.
Like that's the thing. They're trying to make one person laugh, or they're trying to make the room laugh. And I feel like there very well might be a strict divide of 2 different types of comics. One who likes the giant crowd, and those are kind of the more boisterous, likable ones. You're reminding me of that.
Right.
And then you have kind of the more reserved, snarky ones who they just really just wanted to make their one friend laugh, but they also want to do comedy, and so it's kind of like
they're definitely
just
out
me
there.
Spitballing an idea I've never thought of before.
They're you can tell that they're like, as far as stand-up comedy goes, all stand-up comedians want a crowd, but they're still split in that way. Like there's people that want to do arenas or theaters, and there's people that like doing the underground small clubs, and you can definitely see that in people. Like I have a bunch of comedian friends that you can tell they would do great in this small, intimate club, but in a theater, they could probably be funny in the theater, but it kind of lacks that reciprocity between them and the crowd, so that kind of lacks in their performance. So you can definitely tell those people out, and they're definitely there. But depending on what it is, I like both. Like when I did the theater with Hannibal, I wish I'd have did more time. Like he said, do a few minutes, but he probably would have let me do about 10 or 15 minutes. But I should have just asked. I didn't. I was too freaked out.
It's honestly just you never. So I was listening to I forget what. I guess it was probably You Know What Dude podcast, and they had Eliza Schwarzenegger. I forget her last name.
Yeah, Schwarzenegger. Eliza.
Yeah, that one. And she was saying how just telling a story about how one. I guess I don't know if he was an open mic or whatever. It was like she kept like bumping him, just some guy at the clubs after she started getting success, and he came up to her and asked. Just like, oh, hey, do you mind if I just go on before you tonight? Because I feel like I keep getting bumped by you, and you're doing really well right now. And she's like, oh, yeah, in the moment. I was like, that's not a big request. So she's like, yeah, sure. And then she was like, and later that day, I was like, fuck that guy. Fuck him for asking me that. How dare he? And, yeah, she said, long story short, she ends up getting the guy's number to call him, to cuss him out.
Oh, my God.
But so it was one of those things where it was like, and I guess I could kind of relate as just like a struggling artist, that you eat shit for so long that when you finally start getting, your dues start, like it starts paying off for you, you can probably, I imagine a lot of people like that are still really sensitive to that kind of thing, to that kind of, don't treat me like, how dare you ask me for something, even if it's a small request that they know in most circumstances would be fine, but because they're so used to people walking all over them that now they want to. And I feel like with Hannibal, it's perfect to just do what he said,
right? Exactly.
And hope for the best. There's no
do a few minutes. I was like, all right, we'll do a few minutes.
Yeah.
But
just be the guy who was cooperative and made the crowd laugh. Like that's
exactly. How I did a few minutes, and after the show, I hung out with him all night. Like,
God, that's fucking cool. I was gonna ask about that.
We stayed out till like 5 in the morning. Like it was crazy. And I had to work the next day too.
Where did you tell your wife to just go home, or did she go with you?
No, she came with. So after the show, I asked Hannibal. I was like, hey, can I bring my wife back? She's the one that kind of got you. He's like, cool. So we came. It's a funny story. Okay, so you remember how I was telling you how I've been. The whole week I was talking about how crazy it would be if I opened for Hannibal. Yeah. So, the whole week prior to the show, even before that, because he had to cancel one show, and he did the other show months later. So for months, I was like, how crazy would it be if something happened? Anything happened, I got to open for him. And I'm talking to my wife, and I was like, I would let him have sex with you if he gave me 5 minutes of stage time. I would let him fuck you for 5 minutes, and we joked about it for weeks. And then it happens. It was like a dream and a nightmare, because it happens. She comes backstage, and we're drinking. He has some Jameson in the back. We're drinking, and it's me, my wife, him, and his DJ Tony. And so we're chilling. And it was kind of quiet, and I was kind of shooting the shit with him. And I was like, it's crazy this happened because I was just telling my wife that I would let you sleep with her for 5 minutes of stage time. And in true Hannibal fashion, he looked at me. He was like, that's how you saw the conversation? That's weird. And he walked out. He left. That's weird. He left, and I looked at my wife. I was like, what the fuck just happened? What just happened? I was like, he's not coming back, is he? And she's like, why would you say that? Because we thought it was funny earlier. I don't know. But no, he ended up coming back, and he kicked it with us, and we drove him around, went to a couple bars, went to the casino. He paid me. He ended up winning pretty big in craps at casino, so he paid me $300.
Holy shit! That's a good night. Always go gambling with your boss.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how much money he made on the table. He was doing really good.
Yeah.
Him and my wife was killing it that night. Yeah. But he had already had plans of paying me because he got my information, he got my address and everything. He was like, I'll send you a check. And I'm like, no, you don't have to pay me. Like, like this is fucking like a dream come true. And he was like, no, you always get paid for stage time. Like that was one of the best advice he gave me. Always get paid for you can work in an arena like this, no matter what it is. Always get paid. But no, he ended up giving me $300 cash that night, and I bought an Xbox One because I'm responsible with money.
Every time you play it, you think of Hannibal.
Yeah, Yeah, my friends been bugging me to get a fucking Xbox One for months. I don't play video games that much anymore because I don't have time.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'll get one because that's just one way for us to connect because we all live in different places. And so my Xbox One, I always say it's the Xbox that Hannibal bought.
Dude, that's awesome. Are you still able to, like, if you tweeted him, will he respond? Or
I've tried.
Yeah, he's a busy guy.
For a second I thought he blocked me. But no, he after I posted the video, for the first video, I mentioned him in the tweet, and he tweeted me back then. He said, "Oh, you have to tweet this way so everyone sees it, not just for." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know it worked that way."
Yeah, wait. Can you explain this to me?
Right. Well, because
I'll Google it later.
Right. But yeah, I was like, "Oh shit, really?" I was like, "I didn't know." So I tweeted again, but since then I haven't. He hasn't followed me back. He hasn't said it. Hey, I don't expect him to.
Yeah,
but
there's a lot of openers, and someday where this is gonna pay off. Because I've noticed, I used to think, oh, if you open for somebody, that's your like way in, especially if you hang out with them. But I feel like now what that experience is for you is it pays off years later as you've gotten yourself more established, and you run into him in a professional setting again. You have this story, and all of a sudden you already have this connection, and you don't need to make it again, and you're just buddies from the
That's what I'm hoping too. I'm hoping that I'm really hoping that I do really good, and I put in a lot of work, and he happens to hear about me from some other whatever, and I hope he remembers. Who I am, so he can say, "Oh yeah, he's doing good for himself." A small part of me feels like he's kind of watching over me, just to be sure I'm doing
every shit. Time you play Halo.
Yeah, like yeah, I just feel like sometimes like he'll kind of keep tabs on me on my website or something like, "Oh, he's got shows this week. Good for him. Good for him." Yeah. I did that for him.
Every time, I wonder if you can make your Xbox like boot up noise, just like him going, cool.
Right. Hey, I turned on. He's like, "Hey, it's me, Hannibal." That's why I'm gonna name my Xbox Hannibal.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Dude, he's one of the few comedians. When I saw that video that you opened for him, I was excited. I love talking about Hannibal. Right. He's one of the few comedians who he can say any word, any syllable, and it's gonna make me laugh.
Right.
Like he just has that voice and that way about him. Like, yeah. That's why when I found out about, I don't know how I'd never watched it because I love Eric Andre, but I'd never watched the Eric Andre show for some reason. And when I saw Hannibal was in it too, I was like, what the God? This is amazing. That's perfect.
Yeah, no, he's just a cool ass person. Like he's even cooler in person than he is on stage. Like he's just a cool ass dude. And I wish I didn't fanboy him as much as I did, but I mean, but that just leaves me. I just hope that we have another opportunity to hang out sometime or whatever.
If he takes you to the casino, you did not fanboy too hard.
I took him to the casino.
Oh, you did? Nice.
I took him to the casino.
So, are you a big casino fan?
No. Like
really?
There wasn't really much else to do. I mean, my wife likes to gamble. I like to play cards. There really wasn't much else to do that night. We, like I said, went to a couple bars. I wish it would have been a weekend. It would have been a lot more stuff to do. But I worked with what it was.
Last, I guess about a year ago, maybe a little more than that, my wife and I went to, there's a casino 10 minutes from my house. Like, Baltimore now has 2 casinos, and one's right down the road. And, like, neither of us really, I like playing cards, but neither of us really gambled much. And she said she went up to a craps table. I sat down for some blackjack, and we are just hooked. Like,
right.
We're doing okay. We're doing okay.
Right.
But like love going to the casino. I keep jonesing for it like the last couple of weeks, and like I said, my birthday's coming up, and they're gonna send me something, and that's gonna be my excuse to go. Because I don't let myself go unless yeah. That's awesome. So all right. So let's see how long we've been. Sweets. All right. Cool. So as we wrap up, do you have any plugs or anything you want to throw out there? And
I guess, of course, my website. It's RashaadWright.com, and that's RASHAAD Wright with a W.com. My Twitter is Rashaad_Wright. Facebook, all that. I'm on all the shit.
If you send me a message with the links, and I'll put them up on when I post the episode in probably like a month.
Sweet, no problem.
Thanks so much for doing this, dude. I really appreciate it. Thanks for telling your Hannibal story and for talking me through it, everything.
Next time I'll tell you about. I got the open for Bruce too. I'll tell you some stories.
Nice. Oh, that's fucking awesome. Yeah, so I do want to. Let's see. I want to start having comics on in groups. Was that something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, I'd do that.
All right, cool. Yeah, like a little connect, like multi-state connection. But yeah, all right, cool. Well, I will catch you later, and everybody go to RashaadWhite.com and follow him on Twitter.
Yep.
All right, see you, dude.
See you. Thanks, man.
Yeah, absolutely.